Hello and welcome. My name is GuruPathik's, and today I'm going to be talking about something simple, but this is how to outlane a Zeus. Zeus is a really popular pick right now in the meta, has a really high win rate, 58%, and so I'm just going to kind of show you this replay of me laning against a Zeus. Zeus is going to be about 5.5k MMR, and that's about where I am too. So that's kind of like a gauge for how skilled the players are, and you'll see I'm not like the most skilled player that you've ever seen, but the general concept of how to outlane a Zeus involves controlling your equilibrium in such a way that Zeus has no option to do anything. And so I think it's a really interesting mid lane, and definitely something you should know if you're playing the mid lane. Most mid laners play this way because you can't deny a Zeus. Like, flat out, you just cannot deny a Zeus. He's got a 75 damage arc lightning, so we'll look at Zeus here. And it's 85 damage even. So there's really no hero in the game that can contest last hits with a Zeus. So if you're trying to deny a Zeus, you're doing it wrong. The only hero that gets a special mention for being able to deny a Zeus is TA. Because TA gets enough damage from refraction that it's possible. Yes, it's possible if you have enough items, or if Shadow Fiend gets like 30 souls or whatever, but in most reasonable situations, what I'm talking about is the first 3 minutes of gameplay. And TA is really the only hero who can outlast hit him in that phase. I'm going to be playing Invoker this game. Doesn't matter what kind of hero you play. Most of the time you want to be playing a more aggressive hero, but it really doesn't matter. You could do this with, Alina, a Storm. You could do this with a Invoker, obviously, because I'm demonstrating that, like Weaver. It really doesn't matter. This is kind of a universal way to deal with Zeus. But in terms of item builds, the things you want to build, you usually want to build a magic wand or a stick early, at least, because it's going to give you some burst healing and sort of mitigate the effect of static fields. So I definitely like getting a magic wand, because most Zeuses, what they're going to do is they're going to use their arc to get last hits. So you just get free wand charges for that. Usually I get pooled 2 tangos, and then here I elected for a fairy flyer. There's really nothing special to say about the build. You definitely want to send out a salve at some point, because Zeus will wear you down in terms of your HP pool, and you'll want to salve up once. But other than that, pretty standard. And then we're just going to kind of go into this replay and sort of talk about the game. Most important thing, you want to make sure you can secure the top rune most of the time versus a Zeus. Main reason why is that the top rune, like if we're looking in terms of the map, the top rune is like a much shorter distance to walking back to the mid lane than is the bottom rune. The bottom rune, you kind of have to do this like loop, whereas the top rune, it's more of a like straight shot. And what that means is you can get to block your creeps about a second earlier than the other hero. And it's really important when you're playing versus a Zeus to try to get this sort of like creep equilibrium that's set up right here. And what I mean by this creep equilibrium is that it's relatively close to my hill, which means that Zeus kind of has to stand pretty far away from his tower in order to get last hits. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you something really important about my play. So we'll do my player perspective. Now, you have to anticipate how Zeus is going to play this lane, right? Zeus is going to play this lane. He's going to use his arc lightning to get last hits because his attack animation is terrible. He has no damage on his right clicks. His right clicks do 47 damage, just as a indicator. And so he's just kind of sit back, and he's going to want to hit you and a creep that he gets a last hit on with his arc lightning. That's like the ideal situation for Zeus. So what you need to do is you need to plan around that. So when the wave shows up, you want to auto attack the first creep a couple of times. Now the goal of this is you're trying to create a mismatch in terms of when creeps die, because you're going to come into range to get a last hit versus a Zeus some of the time, and he's going to either arc you or he's not going to. And if a creep is not dying, he's probably not going to arc you. So here I last hit that creep, and you can see like now we're in a situation where he's going to arc, which means that I have time, because that creep last hit that I don't need to be in the lane for is dying. I am allowed to deny the creep and then walk out of range. And you can see like I'm not necessarily denying that creep to get the deny. I'm more just getting that to use his arc lightning. And because I was standing on the hill, this is kind of a big thing, because I was standing on this hill, I could see him and I got a magic stick charge, if you don't have vision of the enemy mid, you're not actually going to gain charges. And so really good Zeuses will actually stand in positions such that they don't give the enemy mid charges. And that's why, against maybe a 6.5k or 7k mid, maybe buying a magic wand early doesn't actually matter, because you'll only get like 1 or 2 charges off of it. But that's the game you're playing, right? You want to create mismatches of when a creep is dying, such that you can go in and get a last hit without fear of getting arced, and then move out of range for the arc. And that's kind of the game you play, just back and forth. And then what happens is eventually, because your hero's a little stronger, you're going to watch me miss some last hits. But you can see I'm mismatching them, standing out of range, missing more last hits. And then here I think I get hit by an arc because I'm a dummy and I tried to deny a Zeus. So don't try to deny a Zeus. But here, again, the next wave comes, 1 auto attack, 2 auto attacks. Created that mismatch, get a last hit. And now instead of trying to deny, I just stand to the side and I take the static field damage here, but I don't take the lightning damage. That becomes really important for keeping your HP pool up. You can see I ferried out a salve to go with my extra regen. And then again, auto-attacking the wave, creating that mismatch. This creep is going to die at a different time. And now I've reached a point where I'm a level 2 invoker. I've got cold snap. This guy, he's, going for that bottle rushy kind of build where he gets like a clarity and, he gets pulled some tangos and he's got like 8 clarities. And so here at this point, I just kind of leave the lane and I go and get rid of that clarity. Now, he's going to have his bottle. And so you're not necessarily worried about, doing a lot of damage to him, but that clarity is, 1 or 2 extra arc lightning, so that can matter. But what you'll notice about this game is that Zeus pushes the wave because of the way arc lightning works. And so if you get this creep equilibrium in the right spot at the start, and then you can just keep it there the rest of the game, which means that Zeus will always have to walk into a difficult position. You see me right-clicking twice to create a disparity. Then I walk onto his hill and I zone him off of this last hit. So what you're seeing here is this creep right here is about to die. Like, why did I choose now to go up the hill? That's really the question that should be answered, right? So here, if we're looking at the creep wave, what's going to happen in the next 3 to 4 seconds? This creep right here is going to die. Right? It's taking the most damage. The range creep is focusing it. This creep is focusing it. These two are kind of, doing their own 1v1 brawl out here. But this creep is going to die next, which means that I want to give Zeus a choice. I want to give Zeus the choice between getting that last hit, right, which comes with a consequence. I will be standing on his hill, hitting him 3 times, so he will get punished in terms of HP for getting that last hit, or I want him to use his arc lightning on me. Like, if he's not using his arc lightning to farm, then what happens is you get this hero in the mid game, this Zeus in the mid game. The picture is the same, but it's still Zeus. But you get this, 1 armor, 295 move speed hero with no items running around. Like, he's just food. And if you've got to learn to play the laning phase right to create a food Zeus sort of situation. And so here, what it is, here's the choice, right? Switch to free camera. Here's the choice, right? Go get your last hit. That's fine, but he's going to have to walk up to here to arc lightning, and I'm going to be hitting him the whole time, maybe dropping a cold snap. One of the biggest mistakes I see people when they go aggressive like this is they click the enemy hero to, move this way, and what happens is they aggro all the creeps. You don't want to be doing that. Don't click the hero, just click the ground. And then make this, give this Zeus an impossible choice, sort of. We'll go back to my player perspective. But it's just more of the same. It's just managing that equilibrium. And anytime, these creeps right here, like I could choose to be aggressive and go up this hill right now. But you have to be careful about when you choose to go up hills, right? Like, it was okay to do it 20 seconds ago for the reason that I said, like this creep was dying and so it seemed like a good idea. But the main reason, another side reason that it was okay to do it now, is that the creep wave is not spawning, right? And if we're to fast forward here 10 seconds to this situation, you'd say, like, this is a very similar situation. I want to give Zeus the choice between, getting these last hits or taking right clicks from me. But what you'll notice about the minimap is my creeps are right here, which means his creeps are right here. And so if I were to do that, which I could reasonably, there's a good chance I might end up tanking a creep wave, and that's not what you want to be doing. But that's basically it, right? You can play extremely aggressive against Zeus's. Like, I see Zeus's walk all over lanes because what happens is the so like here I completely zoned him off of a last hit. But what I see is people just kind of sit in lane and they're waiting for a last hit, and then the wave gets pushed. Like Zeus starts winning the pushing war, and then you're in trouble because you have to basically sit behind Zeus and eat all of his arc lightnings. And there's not much you can do correcting that situation. But if you're aggressive, then there's a lot of situations where you can almost completely zone them off of experience. And then you start running into situations where, you're a level 4 invoker, and you're looking at your Zeus, and he's, halfway through level 3. Like, 200 experience is a huge, huge difference in 2 minutes. That is a major, major difference. And I haven't been last hitting the best, right? But I'm still winning the last hits 10-2 here. But what you're seeing is a non-contest sort of last hitting situation. He even has a lane ward, but I don't seem to care very much. And then here, again, like, I'm positioning extremely aggressively because there's last hits, right? But I'm not clicking creeps. You can see I'm clicking around creeps, right? I'm giving him a choice. Come fight me to get a little bit of farm or get denied. Like, I don't even care that he walks up and tries to get this. I even go for the denies because I don't think I can kill him at this point. But, that's the general basics. Like, right now, he's almost level 4, level 3, basically almost level 4. And I am halfway through level 4. So nearly 400 difference in experience. And that's the basics, honestly. Like, Zeus is a hero that should lose his lane every single game, regardless of who he plays against. The biggest thing you got to be careful of is rune timings, because most of the time, people are going to show up to your lane and gank. And when you're standing on the enemy hill, you're going to get ganked a lot of the time, especially when their mid laner is crying about how badly they're losing the lane. And, it's a quick way to feedback your level advantage, where we've got, an invoker who's almost level 5, and now a Zeus with first blood who's also almost level 5. So I hope this helped you, and best of luck beating some Zeus mid.